the big ball, obviously safety chains, and you got electric brakes, brake axle. The unit itself is a 60 horsepower Doosan engine, and it comes with electronic controls, push button, LED screen, AR pump capable of 12,000 PSI max pressure, 6 gallon a minute max pressure. This is your unloader valve. This is the valve that I was telling you about. This is a really important valve because it controls your pressure, how much pressure you have. Okay, I want you to just really think about, listen to this. This, how much tension you have on this spring is what controls how much pressure is at the end of your jetter nozzle or lance. If you back this nut out, then it's going to have lower pressure, and what's going to happen is more water is going to go to your tank. So when you crank it up, you start this at lower pressure. You put tension on this nut as you need, okay? Because what happens is, but if you go too far, you cannot exceed 11,500 pounds, okay? And you have a pressure gauge right here. You never want to go higher than that. This unloader is capable of going up to 15 or 18,000. If you have too much back pressure on it, you could blow a fitting, and that's dangerous, right? So also, are you guys familiar with whip checks? So you have nylon whip checks, which if this hose were to ever blow, it'll keep it there. However, you always want to be, when this thing's under operation, at least 15 feet away from the outlet. Does that make sense? So, like, when you're adjusting it, adjust it from this side, in case it blows off, right? And that's the other thing is, this is a nylon. You've also got any of your adjustable whip checks. So a whip check, you just pull this down, slide it over the hose, and then choke it on the other end. So just like I've done here, you can do it. This is your foot pedal. So like if you were hooking up that hose, you want to take your whip check, grab it around, tell you what, sometimes you go like this. And then you cinch this piece down, it's adjustable, you push the washer, push it down. So that's a stainless steel cable. Then you do the same thing on this end around your fittings. And then connect your.
Those are just twists to connect.
Yep. And these are all, make sure that you ever use.
Set on top.
Okay. These are Jetstream 15,000 PSI quick connects. They all have to be this style. You want, if you ever, when you put your fittings on, use the red Loctite. You see how I've got these in? Yeah. Red Loctited to keep them in place. So this is your foot pedal. It's very easy to operate. You've got an inlet and an outlet. When you let go of the foot pedal, it's going to dump the excess water that way. Right? So that this unit is never going to be left deadheading the pump. You're always going to have water in or water out down your jet hose or water out. The same thing with your lance. So this lance is rated at 15,000 PSI. So you're going to have a trigger mechanism. It's a trigger lock. The way to operate it is you lift up.
That tag's in the way. So
You flip up and pull your trigger. That's on. That's in blast mode. You have an adjustable handle, and you have a nozzle set for the end of your nozzles. It comes blank, but I have your adjustable. I'll have all your tips. So you can obviously cut up concrete, remove any scale, pipes, And so this one is going to dump as well. This is a dump gun. So this dumps here. Okay. So when you lift up, pull your trigger, always have this secure. Now it's not going to throw you on the ground, but make sure that you always have it held with both hands. Same thing goes through there. You got an extra set of quick connects, thread it on, and then you can run. You got additional jet blast. I actually have one more. There's one more of these. So that comes with the same quick connects.
Thank you.
So you have, I'm going to give you this hose, which is your 15,000 PSI Triton blast hose. That should be your first 50 feet. Goes to your foot pedal. On your outlet, what you'll have to do is we had discussed plug clearances. You know about those. If you want to order those, we can order them. We can drop ship them. They're in stock. You probably can maybe get those working. But this is your jetter hose. So the same thing. You secure your jetter hose to the other end of the foot pedal, so that when you get it up to pressure, and then you select your nozzle, you've got a rotator, you've got a penetrator, you've got a flusher. So this nozzle spins. Oh, sorry, dude.
This is probably the one that we got to do this first.
Yes. And so then you've got all your other. Yep, so you can see this one is a penetrator. 1 out the front, 6 out the back. So that nozzle is going to pull really hard, but pull blockages. It won't do much for the walls of the pipe. This one is also going to be a chisel de-icer nozzle or clog nozzle for the walls. This one is a polisher. So these two nozzles are going to be really popular. This one is going to be a puller and a penetrator, but it has an angular pattern of 35 degrees. Whereas this one is straight back, this one's more angled, this one's even more angled, and then this one's straight across.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got your regular button nozzles. This is 0 out the front, all up the back. That is just a flush. This is just to penetrate 1 out the back. And do you want me to write these down for you?
No, I understand this part.
Okay.
But I just want to know how to reconnect to the hose.
So yeah, this is just 1/2 inch thread. Same thing. Lock tight. You got one end. That's NPT thread. Put your Loctite, and so one end of the hose will have this nozzle on it. Now, I will tell you something else that's also very important. So we're gonna do, I'm gonna crank this unit under no pressure, right? Right now, I'm gonna disconnect it, and I'm gonna show you the controls for the unit.
And where do we connect the water to? To the tank?
Okay, great question. All right, if you are using this unit remotely and you don't need a water tank, or you're gonna be using it all the time, you can unscrew this, take your hose loose, hook up a garden hose. It's only 6 gallons a minute, so you can run this off of a garden hose. This is also how you prime the pump. What I always do when I fire it up is, so, hey Pat, you got on plug this. Just hold. So
What do you recommend us to do? Use a regular hose or the tank is better?
it depends on your application. You can use either. I do recommend when you have the water tank that you keep it at least 75 to 100 gallons in. It just makes it easier on the pump. Also, you can see there's a little bit of grease in here.
Yeah.
That's to keep that O-ring lubricated. All right, so when we go to fire it up, what we want to do is inspect all connections. Make sure all connections are tight. That would be your threaded coupler. So at this mode, when we crank it up, it'll be under low pressure.
Okay.
It's not going to be high pressure until you do one of two things. One, put a nozzle in the end of a hose, or two, restrict it by putting on a foot pedal or your trigger gun, right? You know what I mean? So this unit, this engine is in the on position. You got to stop at a, you cut it on, obviously it's at engine's at rest, stop mode. All we have to do to crank it, it's automatic, and it's going to run at idle for 10 seconds just to be in safety mode. From there, it's automatically going to jump to typical operation RPM of 1750. Ryan's going to hold on to the hose. There will be no pressure. But I'm going to cut it back to idle. We've got up and down. Engine safety delay 4, 3, 2, 1. It's going to fire up. And then right now, it's going to get a little warm. So it automatically wants to idle down to a lower RPM to operate. Okay? So the only time you ever want to use your emergency shut off is if there's an issue, it'll cut it off instantly. During normal conditions though, you jet your line, you got it clear, come over, cut it off. It's gonna want to cool itself down for 10 to 15 seconds to get it down to lower RPM.
Looks great.
You're gonna want to order like 2 or 3 more of these, I know. So you just let me know what color you want the next one. Because this thing, it's gonna cook. You're gonna do everything you want to. Just
So,
as
I
long as
understand. At this level is using the highest pressure.
so that's highest pressure. Yeah, that pressure is set. And you have
So about a half an inch from the top, that's the highest pressure.
Yep. So that here's, and also your gauge is right here.
Okay, that
So-
tells you where you're at.
Yeah, that tells you where you're at. You have a set screw as well. If you want to set it,
Yeah.
so then you set it.
Tiene que apretarlo hasta
So this, we
Hasta ahí es el máximo. Just telling him that's the max.
So before you operation, just check, make sure, put a pipe wrench on your connections. These are already set, everything's set.
Esto se puede apretar con una ajustarlo con el cajón.
Adjustable.
So, just want to make sure that it's going to bottom out. It's a lot of things. Okay? So when you're connecting these, just make sure it'll just get hot right here. As soon as I do it, just make sure that thing bottoms out. You don't see any gap like that right there.
Just